Hello everyone, I'm Abhiroop Mukherjee and I will be your facilitator for this Flutter Festival. My agenda for today is to, introduce what exactly Flutter Festival and Flutter is and like give all a demo about how to build basic programs, basic application in Flutters. Sorry about that. So yeah, let's start with what is Flutter Festival. So Flutter Festival is like series of event which is happening between February 14 and March 30, where we all can join together and learn about Flutter, Firebase, and Google Cloud. So using these three, we can build very totally overpowered app uh, it's like Zomato, we Zomato, Swiggy, and many more. So let's start one by one. What is Flutter? So Google likes to tell it like Flutter is Google's portable UI toolkit for building beautiful multi-platform applications. Uh, so it supports all these things like iOS, Android, web, Windows, Mac OS, Linux, embedded, which also includes like Watch OS. And the best part is from a single code base. So if you have done any web development or Android development or Windows development, you might have experienced that like there's like different languages for every stuff. So like for web you have HTML, CSS, JavaScript. For Windows you have C Sharp, C++. For Android you have Kotlin. For iOS you have Swift. For Linux, C++. But the power of doing everything from a single code base really sets the Flutter apart. Like it shows the power of Flutter, but it's not all. So let me introduce you to Flutter's foundational pillars. So at its core, Flutter is built to be fast, productive, beautiful, open, and portable. So I've already explained what is portable is. So like it can from a single code base generate application for all the majorly used devices. So yeah, let's start with fast. So what does it mean by fast? So fast here means that if you have idea about what is compile time and like using the source code, the Flutter is made to be very fast about opening the application and the UI and stuff. So when you open an app, it's built to be really fast to open. Like like you can see that this animation is like fully done like 60 FPS or screen FPS to be honest. Like if the screen is 120 FPS, the Flutter supports it. So yeah, this is what does it mean by productive. So I will show you what this is doing. So you can see that like the the video recorder is changing a text and it is like very quickly gets reflected back to the app which is done. So this is done by something called hot reset hot reset, and this like really helps for building the UI and like it makes you productive and beautiful. So you can see this entire app, like all this animation and like sliding and every animation is done entirely by Flutter. So it gives you the choice. If you want to do it, Flutter can most probably do it. What is open? So open here means that Flutter is fully open source. So like I will link this site to in the WhatsApp group. Uh, so this is a GitHub repo of Flutter. So like it is fully open source, people can contribute to it, and like multiple new things are coming. So there's like recently support for Windows app has come, which was thankfully done by open source. And also the Windows UWP app, if you have any idea what that is also being developed and like it will come really soon. So this was Flutter, like very high level introduction of Flutter. So what Flutter is and everything. So let's move on to Firebase and also Google Cloud. So what Firebase and Google Cloud does is that they make your app the whole. So you can think as Flutter, like from here you can see that it is all the UI perspective and like okay, not this. The UI is great and everything. You have power to do many things in UI, but if you have any experience with web development, so you might know that there is something called backend. which like serve the data, user authentication, stores the data for user, like it makes the app complete. So for that we have Firebase and Google Cloud together. So you can see that in Firebase there is something called Cloud Firestore. It is like the data storage mechanism of Firebase. You have authentication. So you might have think that like there are things like login from Facebook, login from Google, and all these are supported in authentication. You can also use your own servers too. So like if you want your server to have custom email and password, Firebase also supports release and monitor. So like you might know what is Google Analytics. So like ad analytics and like how user uses the app, where it broke, where the crash, where the app crashed, and everything can all be done by Firebase. What is Engage? So this is like you might have know about Zomato's notification. So all those things are supported by Firebase. So from using these cloud messaging, you can like push notifications to user about like for marketing purpose, for example. And what is Google Cloud? Google Cloud is a portal where you can scale your backend. So this has things like compute engine, so you can generate virtual machines for to host your site. It has cloud storage for storing the data in cloud. It has Cloud SQL for managing the data. It has Kubernetes. It has BigQuery and many more things. Like Google Cloud is entirely like it has its own season as well. It is so grand. So 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 we will learn Google Cloud and Firebase in this festival, and we will use this to make awesome apps. So for helping us with that, Google has provided us 4 workshops. So first one is Dart Essential. So let me introduce what Dart is. So Dart is the programming language that we use in Flutter. So it is, you can think that it is very similar to C++, Java, and Python. Like you can think of it like a mixture of variety of language. It has stuff of Python and JavaScript, like async await. It has stuff of C++, like data types and so you will see everything when we will do the demo session. But like Dart is the coding language which is used for Flutter, and you have 2 workshops for Flutter itself. So you can there are many things which can build a build a 2-screen Flutter application, work with on-screen data. There are like a lot of things, but yeah, the quick labs makes it easy for you all to learn and enjoy the process. It has also called Flutter Development, where you will use Flutter Web and Firebase authentication, the stuff which I told about. And there is another quick lab for Google Cloud. And so these are the 4 quick labs workshop which Google has provided for us, and it will be free, and you will have free access to these workshop till May 1st. I will like share all the links and slides, so like, you have all the tools you need to do it. So yeah, one important information: if you have used QuickLab, make sure to make a new account for this festival because it helps Google for tracking. Okay, so let me just stop here and ask if you all have any doubts. Wow, that's a great line, Vibhaji. Oh, thank you, Anirban. I was thinking about sharing this. Okay, so I don't think there are any Q&A. So let's continue. So okay, so say you built an app. You had an idea and you built an app. What can you do with it? One obvious way is to like share it to GitHub. So like demonstrate and make a LinkedIn post and whatever. But there are 2 more methods which I would like to introduce you. One is Google GDSC Solution Challenge. So what this is like a challenge to help to solve uh, like United Nations Sustainable Development Goals. So there are like 13 goals, and using Flutter, Firebase, and Google Cloud, you can make an app to help it on that cause. So there is an entire challenge, like, so you can take part of that. Like, I have attached some links. There's also like a detailed explanation about the challenge by our lead Sanjana. So you can also see that. Apart from the GDSC solution challenge, because not all app ideas are like geared towards uh, sustainable development goals, there's another thing called Dev Library. So it is made to showcase your open source projects. So if you think you have a really great app, you can like contact me and I will guide you to upload all the your apps to Dev Library. So okay, okay, so this is like the intro to everything, like what is Flutter, what is Firebase, what is Google Cloud, what is Flutter Festival. So let's do let's do the actual workshop. So let's build some app. So before that, I have something to tell about IDE and code editor. There are two sites where you can do it on. Sharing these right now. Copy link. Here. So these two sites can be used to like code in Flutter online. So, but I would like to like encourage you to install it in your local system, because there are some things which are better, which are like faster in local system. So I've also provided a link. You can like, it will take a lot of time, so I'm not sharing it right now. Then like when I share the slides and everything, you all can access it. Give me a Yeah, sorry about the delay. Like someone was ringing the doorbell. So yeah, I was telling that using these two site Flutter Labs and Dartpad, you can like build online ID. Uh, so let's walk you through two apps. Like one is Hello World app, a simple Hello World app, like which writes Hello World, and another is like I would like to call it as Mona Lisa app. So it is like a picture of Mona Lisa with text. So I will be doing this in uh, VS Code, but it can also be done in Android Studio and can also be done in online editors. So before going into the work, workshop and demo session, do you all have any doubts? Okay, we don't have any. Yeah, let's start. So here am I in Visual Studio Code. I'm just making a project. So Flutter new project. I'm making an application. Let me just define where doing it. So uh, so is the wait, let's just wait for the Flutter to build everything. Okay, I'm thinking about holding like 5 sessions for Flutter, and like it will not be exhaustive, so you might want to do the quick lab for learning everything. Let's dismiss that. Okay, so the app is created. So let me first guide you what like the file structure of a Flutter projects look like. So first is like Dart tool and idea. It is like for code editor purposes. You see that the by the way, is the code size like size of the text, is it okay or should I increase it? Okay, yes. Thought so. Uh, Now, oops. Okay, so let's start with what the project structure look like. So you can see that there are folders like Android, iOS, web, and Windows. So like, so these are the folders like which defines what Android project would look like, what iOS project would look like, what web project would look like, and what Windows project would look like. So for example, you can see that in web project you have index.html, which is like the landing site, landing HTML page. Similarly, in Windows you have its own thing. Similarly, if you have any idea about Android, it has like Gradle, app source, and even Kotlin files are inside. So main Kotlin, you can see that main activity created. Like if you have an example, like if you have idea about Android, like this is the main file from which the app starts. So that's Kotlin, that's iOS, that's web, and that's Windows. So let me first start the app. So you can see that there are many options. So for now, because like in my computer, Windows runs the fastest. I'm doing Windows. I will like open this in all the possible devices just to show you that it is cross platform. So let's first start with Windows. Okay. Okay, just confirming, is my screen visible like properly? Okay, so it might be some network issue. See that there is some amount of processing while launching the app. Like I can say that it is just the first time processing. After that, I will show you what the power of hot reload is. So by the way, if anyone is using the online ID, is it working for you? Like on that side? Okay. Uh, okay. Let's try web. I don't know. Windows is being too slow today. Let's do Chrome. And, yes. Okay. Windows was giving some error. Might be. I have like maybe Webby is using too much resources. I have no idea. But I think it will run on web. Like web is generally lightweight compiled. Thank God. Yes, I think like my laptop is like too much, and I think that's why it was being slow. But don't worry, like web has opened, so okay. So the app has launched. This is like the starting. Oops. So this is the starting app which runs like it is pre-generated by the OS. Like it is as simple as like I push this and like, the number starts. So so yeah, let's just rearrange it. And you can also see that it is responsive if, like for the web dev. So let's just increase it and keep it like this. Good. So so let's start with a simple home page. So this is all my like for the starters. It is too complicated. So let me just uh, yes, let me just delete everything here, and like I will explain what is happening here. So let's delete everything. So like let's start step by step what is happening. So like C++ and C, everything start from main. Okay, so it's starting from main, and it is doing something called run app, and I'm passing something called constant my app. And now just below it there is a my app, which is like returning and like material app. This is like an object which defines the whole like everything you see in the screen. It has theme data, something called like prime, which has like color blue, and its home page. So like entire thing you see is determined by something called home, like constant my home page. Like I just deleted everything, so let me make everything again. So so I'm making something called a stateless widget. I will explain what that is. So let's keep same name as that my home page. Okay, so let's also ignore this from the time being because like I will explain. I will build up from here. So for now, let's build it. And uh, so this is like it's very this is the home page which signifies the entire thing. So so here I'm doing something called scaffold. And what scaffold is like the basic design like with the app bar and with the screen. So after the scaffold, let me define what the upper part, this blue line that is called app bar. So I'm just defining app bar to be an app title. So app bar signifies this blue part, and the text inside is determined by the title. So here I will put title as text, and let's do it hello. So if we like, I just hot restarted it. So you will see this change will not take as much long time as it required for like launching the full application. See, the top bar became hello world. So let's add another hello world here, like in the screen. So so in like scaffold terminology, the white part is called body. So let me define body. Body, and let's give it some text. So like this text should also be hello world. Okay, so let's hot restart it, and you can see this is hello world. So let me stop here and ask if you have any doubt on that till now. Cool. So let's continue. What we wanted, like in the app, and what we are seeing here is different. First obvious difference is that hello world is in the middle. So how can we do that? So there is something called center, which like can center the hello world in the screen. So let me just delete it. We define a center as a child, the same text. So what it does is that put the child in the middle of the screen. So you can see like hello world is now in the middle. Okay, but there is still another problem. Like just comparing with the screen, this hello world looks big. Like it has like its size is increased compared to this hello world. So let's do that. So let me just add these because like see. So how can we increase the size? So there is one parameter in the text called style. So there's text style. So we can define it to increase the size. So we just say style to be, because like it has been defined that its type is text style. So let's just define it text style. Then if we can see there is something called like it has very things like color, background color, font size, font weight. But here on size. So let's define font size to be what? It's a number. So let's do it 50 for. So I perform the hot restart. And you can see the hello world is also big. So you can see like the app is more or less same. Like this picture was done in Android phone, but this is in web. You can see that the like the UI and everything is almost same. So this also says that from single code base, multiple platforms can be built. So this was the first app. Is everything okay with it? Like, if you have any doubt, please tell. What is stateless widget? Okay, so you can see that there is nothing changing here. Like the state is just printing something. It has no data like the count and everything. So like in the previous counter app, it was 10. So for implementing those counter app, like basically to store something, or in better words, have a state, those widgets are called stateful widgets. Here, as they don't have any state, it is called a stateless widget. Does that clear your doubt, Anil? Sort of. Yes, you can. For beginners, think of it like that. So, clear. Can you explain what operator override here? Like which part? Are you talking about question mark here? Okay. So there is the like if you have any idea about object oriented programming, you can see that this my home page is extending stateless widget. So let me just show you what the code of stateless widget is. So like stateless widget is like very big something something. The main thing is build. Okay, so this build method is defined in this stateless widget, but we want to change what like the default stateless widget is doing. Or in other words, we want to override what the stateless widget build function was doing. And for that, we use the override keyword. So what essentially this does is like whenever some function will call the build method of my home page, it will execute this function rather than the build function of stateless widget. So does that clear give you some insight? Uh, Okay, good. I'm dismissing both of them. Okay, so yes. So this was the first step. Like we built an hello world. We can do more things with it. For example, if like we want to change the text color, so let's do something like in the text style. We saw that there is something called color. So let's define color, and should I add it? There is something called color. So with capital C. So color. So you can see that there is something called from ARGB from RGBO, but let me use some definite color. So there is something called colors dot. Like, let's take it blue. So see the text color became blue. What if I want to make it dark mode? Like this is like white mode, like it has white background with blue colors. What if I want to make it dark mode? So there is something in the material app, not in the home page. There is in the material app there is something called theme. So I can change it to some so light theme data dot dark. So so you will see that it became dark mode. See, so this is the power of hot reload. We can change things up on the fly and see how things fit. So for example, I don't like this blue color, so let's make it white. And it became white. So I wanted to show you the power of hot reload. So I've successfully achieved it. So let's move on to next part, which is like Mona Lisa. So the basic idea is like it will have a photo and then a text. So let me just share the image link. Thank you Wikimedia for that. So share the so just copy and paste. So okay, so let's continue. Let's first make it to light mode because That will reflect how the photo is. And let's remove the text. So this was the app. Now we had to add an image from the network. So rather, like, for now, just remove this. So let's remove it and add an image. So there is something called image class, and there is something another way to add image from a network. So dot network. So from this image network, we add a source to the link of the photo, and will run. But the main problem is the constructor remove const. Okay. So it is basically telling me to remove this const because like the image.network is not local to the computer. It will get it from internet. So let me just remove it and let's see what happens. See, the image has come. Now we need to add a text inside. So there is something called row, which like defines, like, it will list out things in row. So so what it does is that, imagine you want to add this Mona Lisa photo and below it the text. So we just add them to row. So like row will build it them like sequentially from up to down. So let me also remove this and add a row. Okay, so can see tell many things, but the main thing we are looking is for is the children, which is of list widget. So if you have some Python knowledge, you will know that what list is like. It's a collection of order, a collection of objects. Like in this case, it is widget. So let me just define children, and let's just add photo to it, and the text. I'm just taking it from the book. So is happening. This is happening. So let's move that. Okay. What is completed here? Okay, so there are two. And so this is one thing you have to take care about. It's like the bracket sequence. So you can see that there, like, due to like copy pasting, there's like a bracket for row, but there is no bracket for. There is also a bracket for center, but there is no bracket for scaffold. So yeah, scaffold is missing. So here, and let's do it again. Okay, there is some error. Can you tell what happened here? Why it is coming horizontal? Can you guess? Like, I wanted it to be vertical, but it came horizontal. Can someone guess why that happened? Uh, okay, let's wait for some another answer. If anyone want to guess. Okay, so cyan was right. I I like in a fit I took it as a row. So what row is like, if like from the Excel, if a row is horizontal and column is vertical. So let me just change it to column, and it should like work. So, but now here's the thing: there is center, but still it is not center. So there is some problem. So how do we fix it? So there is something called axis alignment in column. So using that, we can set like if the column element should be placed in, like, from the start or from the center or from the end. So like main axis alignment of the type main, capital main axis alignment, and it is from cap. Please repeat the question. Okay, so okay, you have already given the answer, but still I'm repeating it. My question is, we have added a center, but still the thing is not in center. So my question was how to do it. So you gave the answer. So it is like we have to define main axis alignment. So we just add a comma here for like children groups, and like main axis alignment, main main axis alignment dot center. So yeah, so now you can see that it is in center. Uh, so, but here is another thing. Like, okay, let me just also change the text. So, make this Alisa, and also as make response because it is not supposed to change in the runtime. So, okay, so we have this. Okay, also one addition, we can change this hello world to this as well. That was it. So let's compare it to what we wanted to build. Okay, also the text size was smaller. So you can like do it by reducing this. So let's make 30. So yeah, now it looks pretty much like what I have thought to build. But there is another thing. You can see that uh, there is some vertical distance between the text and the image, right? So to do that, there is something called padding. So so let me just define it. So we want to add bottom padding to the image, right? So are you all with me? Why I'm thinking about padding? So let's continue. So what I will do is like first I will take it off. Okay, and there is another class widget to be specified called container, which is used to define like additional property to the widget. So here, let me first define the its style as the and same thing. Let me also do one thing. This link is very big, so let's do one thing and make it some data. Before returning, I will do string URL is equal to this and semicolon, and I will just do URL. So it looks much cleaner. So what we have set to do was adding some bottom padding. So in container, you can see that there is like extra thing, like we can define the width of the container, decoration of the container, color of the container. But the main thing I was looking about is padding. So is it padding? So so it has type of something called edge inserts geometry. So let's define padding as edge inserts geometry. We want to add bottom padding only in the bottom. So there is a function called only, which has Yeah, thank you, Pawan. So yeah, I got pretty confused right there. So it has many functions, and I'm thinking about only. So it has like four parameters: left, top, right, bottom. So it defines padding in like left, top, right, bottom of the child. So we want something on bottom. So that's bottom, and what does it? What is the bottom? It's double. So it's at 20. So yeah, there is a bottom padding, and to show it, let me just do something called uh, toggle debug painting. So from it, you can see that there is a bottom padding on the image, and after that there is a text, and this blue outline over the whole line is like the column widget, and above there is like app bar with text. So let me just close this wrong page. Untoggle it. So yeah, it pretty much looks the same. So this was the end of demo session about today. So thank you for attending, and if you have any questions, you can feel free to ask. Yeah, yeah, using size box and giving height is also possible. Uh, okay, so I think there is no doubt. So let's call it a day. It was okay. Yeah, thank you, Vibali. So yeah, let's end it. Let me close my screen. Q&A. Why VS Code is showing wrong? So it is mainly because like there's like too much going in my computer. Otherwise, VS Code is pretty fast. How to get template for the app? So generally, the startup template I made was like auto generated, but like you can follow that, but with time you will see that like you can easily understand everything, and like you might not even need the template. Like only some parts of it, like none parts of it. Okay, so let me just hit one by one. Problem 34. In the terminal section, problem 34. Okay, are you talking of, wait, let me share my screen. Are you talking about this one? Like render flex overflowed by 27 pixel in the right? Uh, so let me just explain what happened here. So it is generally given like whenever there is not enough space, it is gives some error. So for solving that, there is a method. So uh, like just confirming, is my screen visible or tab problems? Oh, okay. So it is okay, okay, okay. So I have some an extension called C spell, and it is like telling me like there is like unknown word, unknown word. So please ignore that. Whoops. So yeah, I but just also wanted to add a new thing. It might happen like when you do it too much, you will see that there is an error, so like overflow by some pixels. To solve it, we can easily convert this column to something called list view. So okay, let's keep it to next session. I will like explain everything. Like uh, so yeah, everything is cool. Okay, from 2.10 in some place, in most of the place. So let me first tell you what const mean. So const means that it is like made constant in compiler level. So it is generally used for. Okay, I will come to that. I was telling that why is const needed. So what const means that it is made like the value of it is defined in the compiled code itself rather than some variable. So if you have some idea about that, so what const does is that it makes the code faster than using variable because like the data is itself is present. uh, okay, in padding it is showing const constructor preferred. Continuing on, you can see that this thing will because I have given like 20 as a as like a definite value, it is not bound to change during the runtime of the app. So it is telling me to prefer const with constant constructor. It is a constant constructor because I have passed constant value. So a way to solve it is to just add a const. So does that clear the chat? No. Never. Yep. So that's well, yeah. Thank you for it and bye bye.